Let me do one more thing with the audio and then I promise I will be done. But I don't think it's going to be out.
You can see it.
Be interesting to see what the recording is like.
Oh,
You ready to go?
All right, it is September 18th, 7:02. Calling the meeting of the Park Commission to order. I call.
no, you do, it's 7:03.
Yeah, it's 7:03, yeah. Whatever.
Turmoil already starts.
Sue, I just want you to feel welcome.
And so I did roll call,
You can, yes,
or you do roll call.
it's your choice. Do you want to do
Patrick,
it?
why don't you do it?
Okay.
Sure.
Because you know who's not calling.
Do I have to say you, like yours?
Just say the people that are here. in the-
Yes.
But I didn't know if I had to. say
Oh,
two.
yeah.
You do, yes.
All right, Sue Rich,
Present.
Kate Pachon Hellman,
Present.
Stephanie Todd,
Here,
and Bill Hanson here. And not present currently is Travis Neal and
Jim Person.
Jim Person,
Mike
it's not.
and Mike
Travis.
Bauman.
Yeah.
Next.
and Jim. Also present are Beverly Tucker Knight,
Ah,
Patrick.
So we don't count towards the quorum, so don't
But I-
really have
but
to
I-
say it.
right.
Yeah.
But I say it so people
Yeah.
are recording.
Oh, yeah, we can do that. Yeah, perfect.
So they're here as well.
Okay,
So we do have a quorum,
yes.
so this is counts as an official meeting. All right. Hearing from citizens, any communications?
We have had written communications to the staff, but not to the commission. But one of those communications, actually two of those communications, you will have later on the agenda. So
Okay.
we won't discuss it now.
Are they the things that,
That you sent me? Yes.
yeah,
Yes.
okay. Because I didn't know how to do that.
You did it. You
Okay.
did it. It's
Great.
perfect.
All right. And there's no one present, is there anyone online? You just double check. Okay. Minutes. So if you had a chance, hopefully everyone got a chance to look at the minutes,
Mhm.
Yes.
any corrections or anything to add?
Yes,
Yes, on the minutes?
yeah, my name's.
Look at that. Thank you, Jim.
And by the way, Patrick, you might add it.
Mark that he was late.
Yes.
Duly noted.
Yeah, correction.
Late and with a correction.
There you go. It's a double whammy.
Oh, he had a spelling error on item 9.
All right.
I'm human, okay, guys? A little bit.
That's fine, sorry. All right, so does someone want to,
So when you make the motion to approve these, there'll be a motion to approve the minutes as amended.
so someone want to make that motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the August 21st, 2024 regular meeting minutes as amended.
Second,
Call for a vote. Okay, everyone.
Aye.
Approved, say aye. Any nays? Nays, no. Unanimously approved. While we're on minutes for one moment,
Yes.
we have a question. We're trying to cut back waste. Less people. To that end, what do you guys think about print, if you want to print a copy, print the copy from the email that you get with the minutes for the meeting? And or bring, as I did tonight, bring a tablet or device so that you can look at all the
Oh, we
attachments
started that already.
electronically.
Look at you.
Would everyone be okay if we sat print the minutes?
yes.
Yes.
Okay.
But it would have to be official, right? That's not official, right?
We will still print the agenda because that's a requirement. We'll still print the agenda, but not the packet.
So the packet, the meeting minutes, et cetera, if you want any of that on paper, we'll ask you to print that yourself.
Okay.
And if you're good with it electronic, bring whatever you want to do that up.
Even the agenda, you can't just send it out like
We
the
do,
day
we
of
do.
or the
But
day.
we need to have paper copies in the room. Just paper copies.
That's important.
Just the agenda. That's state law. It's just the agenda.
Oh,
And I'm not even sure if everyone has to have, or we have to have copies on hand. We have to post it, still physically post it.
yeah. I can see
Actually,
physically
we're posting-
posting it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so maybe just print like 2 or 3 copies and
Yeah.
have them here.
Yeah. And that way, if anyone were to come to the meeting too, then they have.
We're
Right,
just
right.
trying to get away from, you print it at home, then you come here and they hand you another printed copy,
Right.
right? So then you end up with another.
Yeah, great. Thank you,
All right,
everyone.
perfect, that's great. The next item, pavilion user fee update.
Great. Thank you.
Take it away.
So I wanted to do a little bit of a deeper dive into our fees because it's the first time new commissioners have addressed fees. So we're starting easy with the park pavilions. So I'm going to give an overview of how the park pavilion rental program works. And then I'm going to explain to you some changes we want to do to the fees. So first up, we have 4 park pavilions. They are at Villa, Stacy, Irveside, and Indian Meadows. Next slide, please. Okay, so the Stacy Pavilion is open year round. It can accommodate up to 200, even 250 people. It was built to be a very large scale pavilion. It's our newest pavilion. It's a 100% new build. We currently charge damage deposits for any users on the weekend. And on the weekends, you can only rent it for the whole day. And those, I'll show you later on why we went to that. It's different than the other parks. We have a parking lot there dedicated. The pavilion itself is 3,000 square feet. We also allow special event permits there, and the permit is an additional $100 fee. What the permit gets you is the ability to have outside vendors come in. So we get a lot of bounce houses, we get a lot of petting zoos, caterers, performances like Circus Kaput. And the reason we charge a fee for that is extra time is required with that. We meet with you on site. Oftentimes, we map out where things are going to go. And then we make sure that it's a compatible use. We want to make sure that if there's amplified sound, we know where it's going to go, so it doesn't negatively impact the neighbors, things like that. Irveside Pavilion is a much smaller operation. It's in the neighborhood park, whereas Stacy operates a little bit more like a regional park. So it can accommodate 100 people. It can actually accommodate slightly more, but we cap it at 100 because of parking. So it has street parking during the week. The ADA accessible parking stalls are on Old Bonham. On the weekends, we have an agreement with Logos School that the parking lot at Logos is the parking. So that allows us to have to 100. We do not want to go more than that because we do not want people parking across Old Bonham and walking across the street because there isn't really a crosswalk right there. Also, we don't want them parking in the neighborhood because then we'd be kind of a poor neighbor. And it's about 1,300 square feet. And the pavilion itself wasn't renovated. The concrete around it was changed. We have beautiful native landscaping. That's a rain garden that captures the runoff because it's a very old pavilion and mud used to flow through it. So that new renovation has stopped that. We've improved the circulation elements around it, but it is slated in the capital project to be replaced and for the restroom to be renovated. So those are future items that we still haven't accomplished yet, but a lot of work was done at Irveside, and that's a picture of it. So you can see the new concrete, you can see the new planting areas around it. It closes November 1st and reopens April 15th. Those bathrooms are not winterized. We do not keep them open during the winter, so we do not reserve pavilions during that time. An important thing to note is our pavilions technically are free to use. You can use them anytime you want. What the reservation does is it allows you to bank on that time that you're going to be there that's reserved for you. And we put a sign up so that everybody knows you're the person that's going to be there and what your capacity is and the times. Irveside, we allow a rental in the morning and in the afternoon. So the morning time is 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. Then from 2 PM to 3 PM is the time the staff come in on the weekends and service it. And then the later half is 3 PM to dusk. Villa, same operation, but it's much smaller. Again, it's a much smaller pavilion, much smaller parking lot. We cap it there at 50 people maximum. And Villa and Irvside, we do not allow those special event permits. So no bounce houses, no outside groups, outside vendors coming in, with the exception of caterers and catering trucks. We allow food trucks to come into Villa, into the parking lot, and we allow them to go to Irvside. We don't advertise that, but if someone really asks us, particularly if they wanted Stacy and Stacy was booked, then we will work with them and make it happen there, but we don't advertise that. That really helps with keeping everyone in compliance.
There's electricity at Riverside.
There is.
Villa.
And yes, there's electricity at those three.
Okay.
Our fourth pavilion is Indian Meadows Pavilion. It is not reservable at this time. It is on the ordinance to be, oh, our lights are going on. It is on the ordinance to be reserved. Oh,
Oh, are they connected to the?
they're not supposed to be, but we had a power outage.
And they made it.
And it made, and so our system gets a little bit, yeah, so our, every time there's a power outage, the Crestron system that manages this gets a little funky, so. The last power outage was us and the industrial park over there, so we're still figuring out,
I think what's happening is they're probably watching something over there
yeah.
and when they dim the lights.
Yeah. So we have these sensors up there that know when the
I just thought
partitions
you
are
would have
closed, so
Set the mood.
so, yeah, but it'll be okay. We'll be,
No electricity.
You know, working towards the pilot, you know, saving money.
Just might not be able to see. what's-
Yeah.
yeah. So Indian Meadows Pavilion is, it's sort of in limbo a little bit. So right now, the construction is going on for the Greenway, so we're not renting it. We stopped renting it. Well, we only rented it for a year, and then there were incredible neighbor complaints over it, so we suspended renting. Now we're closed this year with the construction. Council is going to have to address it. The pavilion is too close to the home next door. We all acknowledge that. It is not conducive to having a big party there. And there is no parking except for on the street, and there is only parking for roughly 9 or 10 cars. So it really is something that, because it's a contentious issue and everyone knows it's a contentious, it's not a secret. It is a council action item that they will eventually have to decide what we're doing there. And the time to address that will probably be when we renovate that playground and we do a detailed plan of that area. So that is renovating that playground and restroom is one of our highest priorities in the capital project. So we will address that at that time, probably.
When you have issues like that arise, that, you know, kind of need to be bumped up to the next highest level for the council to kind of figure out and decide what's the interaction look like with like the neighborhood, and whatever the next steps are?
When we do any sort of master planning of a park, we invite the neighborhood in. We have them be part of the discussion. We do we actually hire a landscape architect firm to manage that discussion because we want to make sure we're listening and not impacting the decisions that are made. We really try and cast a wide net. So it's not just the neighbors right next to the park that are coming, it's the whole community. And then this commission is heavily involved in that. And then when the drafts come in, this commission will review it. And then we'll have another public meeting usually to have everybody weigh in and, you know, decide what they like, don't like. And then it comes back again, and then it's approved. And then at that point, it's approved at a public meeting. There won't be a special neighborhood meeting for that. So, but there will be a special neighborhood meeting for the first kickoff in that design process. That's an excellent question. And this pavilion is something we all inherited. It predates any of the commissioners that are on it now. I believe it predates any of the council members except for maybe Missy. So this was done in 2008 is when that pavilion was put up. So next. Oops, wrong way. There we go. Okay, so this is kind of when I talked about a little bit more. So all the park pavilions are free and available on a first come, first basis. So your reservation really is making sure during those peak times that you get your pavilion. When people call during the week, like on a Monday or Tuesday, and they want to rent the pavilion, we typically say, you don't want to take your money, go out and enjoy the park, because we know it's not a heavily used area. Now, if someone wants to bring in a big group at Stacy during the week, we absolutely book that for them. We don't want to get surprised out there. Reservations can be made up to a year in advance. Then at Villa and Irv's Eye, you can book your pavilions online up to 3 days ahead of your use. If you want to reserve within that 3 days, up until Friday, we'll take the reservation by phone or in person. But once the weekend starts, we're not booking it. The reason for that is we staff the parks based on the reservations. So it's too late, Friday afternoon, it's too late to change the park crew schedule and have them have adequate time, because they are in charge in the mornings of cleaning the pavilions, making sure they're ready. And then they come back again in the middle of the day to get them set for the next group coming in. And that is a big change we made at Stacy last year. Once the new pavilion was opened, Stacy also was one where you could rent for half the day or a full day. This, the staff came to a recommendation with this commission, because what we were finding is the popularity of Stacy and the size of Stacy. It was no longer enough time for the staff to clean Stacy and flip it, and then clean all the other ones and have them ready. So we really don't want to, if someone's paying top dollar for these pavilions, we want them to be in as best condition as possible.
And we were also rushing out of there so that we would have enough time to clean, so
Right.
it was a contentious
Yes.
time with the
Yeah.
parks.
And when you only have 50 people in your rental, it's easy. But when you have 200, 250, there's no way to clean up in an hour and be ready for the next group. Yeah, yes.
Just an aside back to Indian Meadows. So in your mind, is it really even an issue that you can't rent the pavilion? I mean, we've got 3 others and they're, so,
Well, it's not an issue. The issue is, do we want to keep the pavilion there or do we want to remove it?
oh, okay,
That's the issue.
all right,
Because
okay,
right now, it only has 4 picnic tables in it, because the neighborhood has demanded that there only be 4, no more, because they don't want anyone using it.
oh. Okay.
Yeah. So, we don't live next to that park.
Right,
Right. So, until there's a decision made, I took the tables out of there.
Okay.
Although the recreator in me says 8 is okay, but the neighbors were adamant, so we left 4.
all right, so.
The problem was the people who were being invasive. Like,
Yeah,
I'm renting the pavilion, so I don't have the right to go up and knock on their door and say, can I plug this into your garage, into your outlets on the outside of your house? I mean, the level of entitlement and imposing, or, that we're supposed to be out of the parks by dusk and they still have music blasting at
Yeah.
10 PM.
yeah,
Those were some of the major issues and that the neighbors complained about.
It
Yes.
is it's very
Yeah.
close to their property line. It's not something that we would,
Well-
in this day and age, we would not have planned that.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, and then. I can ask my question
Okay,
later.
sure. Yeah.
This is a sample.
No,
Yeah,
thanks for the
or an
clarification,
example, an
because
example.
I thought you were debating, do we fix it up and open it up for reservations? And
Oh,
that-
yeah,
That's what
yeah,
I
yeah,
thought.
yeah.
So I
Yeah.
completely
No, that's a good question.
misunderstood.
No, that's a very good question. That's a very good question.
That falls on the council's decision when they decide.
Right, and because it is contentious, we don't want the park commission to have to be involved in those discussions.
Right,
You can make a recommendation to have it removed, but really the council has to be the.
Right.
Because then it's, it's okay, because it was paid for with grant money, but the 10 years have expired, so.
Right.
We can take it down. It's not a problem. So Stacy Park, different situation, because it is such a big pavilion and it is so highly sought after, you must reserve that with a staff member. We do not allow that to be booked online. You can see if it's available online, but you cannot book it online. And then, as I said, we post up in the pavilion, who's supposed to be there. Another reason why we can't do it last minute, because those signs get made, we put them out there.
So Stacy Park, you really have to do it in person, because I
You do.
reserved it. Yeah,
You have to do it in person.
Yes.
Yes.
okay,
Yeah.
because that's it by phone.
Well,
or
you can call in by phone and start the process, but we
Right.
do like to meet with you in person, particularly if you have that special event permit, we will meet you on site and map everything out.
Well, so I don't have a special permit, it's just for our subdivision, but they said, when I call, they told me it's not reserved until you come in and pay.
Oh, well, because you weren't using your credit card, probably.
I think, I don't remember.
Yeah. I'll check on that, but the policy is you can pay for it over the phone, but most people.
Oh,
do
but
come
how
in
would you
and check
pay for it over the phone?
With a credit card.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
And I thought, okay, I don't remember.
Check.
But
I
I'll,
think I did use a check,
yeah, that's.
because then I get reimbursed from the
Yes,
subdivision or
yes.
something.
Yeah, and
Okay.
that's very typical with subdivisions, for sure. Subdivisions get free use twice a year of city facilities, but not the pavilions. Yeah. Next slide. Okay, so here's our current fee schedule. So you can see Villa and Earthside have half and full day price. Oh, I put up. Oh, we were still doing Stacy Park half days Monday through Friday because it's very rare to have a full day rental. Most people come in after work. And then you can see our rates there. There's a big jump in the cost to between, it's a 50% increase between Villa, Earthside and Stacy. Now, these fees were adjusted in, I believe, 2015, 2016, I think is when we adjusted these fees. The damage deposit we put on last year of Stacy Park being $150 if you had over 150 people. And then we required damage deposit for any rental at Stacy on the weekends. And then the special event fee is $100. Yes,
Why did you decide that both resident and non-resident pay the same?
that's only for the damage deposit.
No,
The rates are the same.
Oh, the rates are the same. Why is
That's
that?
a typo.
That's a typo.
That's a mistake.
That's a typo. And you know what? That's on our website. So I think
I know.
we'll check that. I'll check that. That is definitely a
I
typo.
don't, I think it's.
It's
right.
like $420 for
I
non-residents.
think
I
it's
think.
correct.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's here. Yeah. That's putting it into PowerPoint somehow messed that up. Okay, good catch. All right, okay, next slide. So some of these are old and some of these are new. So the reason we went to a damage deposit at Stacy is like the picture on the right, we have caterers that come in with not only damaging stuff, those are deep fat fryers. You can see they put down some cardboard. They had the big fat containers there. We don't know where they disposed of the fat. We think they put them down the toilets. The,
Is this stuff on the website,
this is not,
on the
No.
agenda?
no, this is not. This is, no, this is only in the PowerPoint. You can see the grease went past the, cardboard that was down there. Now, this is a professional caterer. They had a special event permit to have this caterer there, but this caterer clearly is not following health department guidelines because exposed open air fat fryers like that are not allowed. They also aren't allowed in our parks. Those propane tanks are not allowed in our parks.
They're also right next to a trash can, but
Yes, yes.
So what was the action we took?
Well, now this one is an old picture. This is one of the things that prompted us to have damage deposits. So there was nothing we could do with this, although we did put the caterer on our watch list and the resident we let know it's not acceptable.
Watch this, they're not welcome back.
Well, watch list, so if they come in again, we will have a conversation with them. We didn't have a damage deposit then, so there's not a lot of action we can take, but it's a very well-known barbecue group.
Who should know better?
You should know better, absolutely. The lower left-hand corner is a group that did not have a special event permit and they brought in a food truck. And not only did we not know it was coming, they pulled it into the park, which is also illegal.
Yeah.
So those are two examples of what prompted us to have a damage deposit at Stacy. Since we enacted those last year, it has been remarkably improved. The parks crew is thrilled with Stacy. Absolutely, with a couple exceptions. So everything that happens on the weekends is fan-flippin-tastic. Now, what happened most recently is someone, a resident, booked the pavilion all day on a Friday. So no damage deposit. They had a big family party out there. and they left a disaster zone mess. Not only overflowing all of the trash receptacles, but also leaving confetti and glitter in all of the bushes that we had to clean out through all the native plants. It was a big mess. It took the park crew more than 2 hours to clean up the mess that they left. Now, we don't have a damage deposit for weekdays, so and then we received emails from residents, because residents sent emails to Stephanie, which she shared with us, because they were going out and helping pick up, because they had seen it in the early morning. I mean, it was pretty bad. And then it made our park crew late. They came in on Saturday morning to get it ready, so he was late doing all the other pavilions that were for people that were waiting, to use the parks. So that is not acceptable. The other pictures are from other parks. So at every pavilion, we have multiple trash cans and multiple recycling bins. But what people tend to do is they tend to throw everything into one and not look at the other ones around them. So then the animals pull it out, and then we also get a lot of broken glass. You'll see on the next slide, they leave big boxes of trash. So what we'd like to do is start charging a damage deposit for every single rental. So no matter what, because that really sends the message, we expect you to clean up your mess. We expect you to dispose of your trash properly so that animals don't spread it around. We don't have broken glass. And the other thing that happens is that when a storm moves in, people bug out and they leave everything on the tables. They leave all their food, they leave everything, and they leave. And then it takes us an incredible amount of time. So if we charge a damage deposit for every rental, then that gives us recourse that maybe they'd come back later and do it. I get people get scared when there's a thunderstorm, but it's not okay.
Right.
Yeah, and there, just to kind of give you an example too, I don't know that we have had to actually keep a full damage deposit from anybody. I'm doing this on the weekend, Stacy, that you're,
Not since we put it in, we
So-
haven't. I'm sure it'll happen eventually,
Yeah.
but so far it has not.
but it's also like, that kind of, to me, means it's doing its job. That we're not holding deposit, keeping money from people, we're refunding it back to them, which means has the desire back.
Mhm.
A couple of questions on the
Sure.
damage deposit. One, do we have some guidelines to say this is damage and this is wear and tear?
We do.
And then the second question is when there's these big blowouts that we have got problems, does the damage deposit cover our additional expenses? Are there incremental expenses associated?
The most expense we have is staff time. Now, sometimes there are damage that we have to repair. So the group that brought in the DFAT fryers, they broke the lid, they broke the covers off all the electrical outlets. And that happens frequently. That's a $12 part. So it is, so you do staff time to replace it and the cost of the part. So it does cover it.
So
Yeah.
do we have guidelines in terms of?
We
got
have
the key.
massive guidelines, and the damage deposit says that you will abide by all of these guidelines, or you will lose your damage deposit. You forfeit the full amount. Now, recently, we had an event here where we held back a damage deposit. It was, again, Olivet resident. The reason I say Olivet residents, when we first had these discussions, people were up in arms saying that they were people coming from other communities. I'm like, no, these are all residents. So we had a big party here. It was 16th birthday party, and they had lots of balloons with confetti inside, and they got popped out on the patio. Again, we had to vacuum it out of the bushes. And then they set up a smoking section around the back of the building that we didn't see. And all of our facilities and our parks are smoke-free. So we called them, when we discovered it Monday morning, we called them and we held back so we have a tiered system of cleaning in here. We charged them 2 additional cleanings for the use of the space. So that was $140 that they were charged, and that covered it. Yeah, and it also,
problem.
and they were also very apologetic. So I had a feeling, because you probably see the trail coming up, they took their trash out the front door and left that trail of sauce on the, yeah.
That a power washer could not get out.
Yeah. The power.
So give me an idea, whatever.
It's pretty,
Well,
we
you don't
had,
want to even eat that.
well, we think it was a very acidic. It was, I won't say what the food was, because that'll indicate who was here. So, but we think it had a lot
Well,
of.
you already said it was here, go ahead.
No, she didn't.
Yes, you did it.
Well, 16, yeah, that's,
60.
yeah. No.
Most of us
There's
know
a few
what that means.
16-year-olds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, so the two trash pictures were taken at Earthside, just a couple weeks ago. I don't have any pictures of Stacy. Ed was too busy to take pictures. So, next slide. So ignore the incorrect fees up there. But the yellow is what we're suggesting. So we're suggesting that at Stacy Park, all rentals have $150 damage deposit. And then Villa and Earthside would have a $100. Because it's only $30 to rent Villa, I felt uncomfortable charging $150 as the damage deposit. But I would love to hear from you, what you think about that.
Can I ask 2 quick questions? before we
Sure,
open it up?
absolutely.
Number 1. This has to go before the council for approval.
Well, it does, but probably for the last time, because we're slowly moving all of the fees out of the ordinances and we're going to adopt them every year
But
as a
currently,
fee
they're still
schedule.
in the ordinance.
They're still in the
So We
ordinance.
can recommend what we want, but they have the option to do what they.
They do.
I just want to make that clear.
But
to the
they
new
pretty
commission.
much honor what you say.
But Maxine will carry forth our.
Yeah.
Right, but that's the current, I just wanted to fill
Yeah.
people in, that's the current way of.
That is the current.
We're trying to get away from that.
We
but
are.
We're not yet
Right.
there.
So whatever action happens tonight, the next slide has a recommendation, so you don't have to try and craft one. You can either accept our recommendation or you can craft your own. Then it goes to the council, but this will probably be for the last time. Because what we've slowly been doing is taking all of those fees out of the ordinance and then putting them into the yearly operations, because that way it makes it more, we're able to change more rapidly. And then we have a better idea of what our fees are. So last year we took all of the all the individual class fees were in there, and there's no way we can list all the classes,
Oh,
and have them in the ordinance,
Yeah.
have 2 readings on it, because we add classes so quickly.
yeah.
So that's been removed. They may still be in there now because it takes a minute. It takes several months after ordinances are approved to get codified into the into the municipal code. But, so eventually there'll be a fee schedule that's approved every year with the budget, and then you'll all see that before it goes.
And the second clarification, especially for those that are new, is how does this work procedurally? So when they rent, if they're paying by check, they have to supply the demand.
They do.
Pay the damage
They do,
deposit,
they do,
right?
they prepay.
Right.
And if they're doing it by credit card, you hold.
No, we also charge it.
You put
We
it
charge
on.
everything.
Okay. I just
We
wanna
charge
clarify.
everything. And then when we refund however you paid. So if you pay by credit card, we refund to the credit card. If you paid by check, we issue a check.
So that's it. That's to clarify, the reason you made your comment about the. Is
Yes.
because you're asking someone who's paying a $30 fee to give you $150.
Right, because they have to pay. We don't, back in the old days, people used to write a check and they just hold on to it. Well, now, we don't do that.
So I just want everyone to understand.
Thank you. Good
Right.
question.
And
Thank
so,
you.
and I agree with that. So I was surprised when I came to reserve Stacy that the damage deposit was more than the park rental. But if you think about it for like 1 second, it makes sense. Because like you said, $150 doesn't go very far if you leave a big mess.
Mhm.
And same with the $100. I don't know what the parks people get, $20 an hour or whatever, plus the truck, plus blah, 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 plus equipment. So you're not talking, $100 isn't paying for a lot.
It's not, but really, it sends a message that people, it's enough for people to say, I want my $100.
Right, and, the
Well, more importantly, they read the requirements.
Right.
The expectations.
Yes,
And if you're gonna charge them $10, I'm gonna read that. But if you're gonna charge them $150, I know I'm gonna read
Yeah.
what it is
Right.
I have to do.
yeah, and we make them initial things.
Yeah. that's the-
Right. And the person that complained about, and I walk around Stacy all the time, and, it always would bother me. How much, it's, you guys pick up now, but I remember there's a lot of citizens that pick up trash.
Absolutely.
And one guy went up there and one time he told me how many ketchup packages he picked up. He picked up
Yeah.
some goofy thing, you know?
Yeah,
So,
Yeah.
so people, and anyway, the person that complained about the Friday night party, she wasn't invited, she didn't know, but she knew, you know, that group. And she said, yeah, she said, the only way you're gonna get them to stop is if you charge them and if you shame them into it. She says, otherwise, they're like elitist, like, oh, okay, woo, we can trash the park.
yeah. I don't think people, I mean, it's just like when you go to a baseball game now, people leave such a mess, or in the movies, people leave a mess. They think someone else is gonna clean it up.
Right.
Yeah.
So are these damage deposits in line with, parks?
Yes.
Municipalities around us?
They are. Our fees are a little bit on the low side now, so when we do our fee, comparisons, we may up them.
Okay.
Yeah,
I would
and,
say
and we've
they're-
got time for that.
And I would not feel bad if somebody I would not, I mean, I would not feel bad keeping their whole damage to park instead of like, oh, well, here's $50 back.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah, no, we absolutely will. And
Okay.
the other thing we can do too is if something significant were to happen, then the city would take legal action.
So can you go ahead and show the, your recommendation?
Yes, it's the next slide.
And we can get,
Okay, so I think you answered this question for me, Beverly, but if there is something significant that goes over $150, let's say that maybe, you know, I'm thinking actually about the, the concrete that has been damaged.
Yes.
You know, if concrete was damaged to the point where you needed a square replaced or something like that.
We would,
That's
the
huge,
city
yeah.
would send a sternly worded letter and we'd probably send them a bill. Yeah. And
That's
then,
what I was thinking. is
which
like,
we
not
may or may
cover
not
the
be able to
thing.
get.
which we may or may not be able to get, but,
Totally.
it will attempt it. And then we absolutely now can then ban people. So we have renters that are not allowed to rent from us from the old community center. And people that are not allowed to use the park from the old community center as well. And some of them are individuals and some are schools. Yeah,
So. Do we actually have the numbers, or that was the numbers?
those are the numbers.
Okay.
So you can approve it like this. And then the staff report goes to the council with the detail.
So does anyone want to make any changes before we agree to the recommendation?
I know, but I guess a question. I realize that asking $150 for something that costs $30 seems extreme. Does that make it easier for staff if there's just one amount to process, or does that matter?
It's very easy. It's very easy for, in our system. It's all in the registration.
Okay.
It's also damage, you know, what it's gonna cost to fix it, Stacy, it's gonna cost.
Well, and that, yeah, I mean, and I guess my other question is, are the other parks are we spending more money there, even though it's
We're
fewer
not.
people that?
We're not, it's fewer people. I mean, it is a big cleanup. So those ones you saw, the broken glass.
Those sound like
that,
extreme.
Yeah, then those are, I mean, that would be something we'd withhold part of their damage deposit for that. Absolutely, particularly because there are empty cans all around that you're choosing not to use and you're just dumping everything there.
But the idea is that we have a scale for the different parts.
Mhm.
Assuming a different size of the group. So we've already calculated, at least attempted, what our cost is.
Right.
If they don't damage it, right, for the normal wear and tear, as you put it, kind of
Yeah.
usage. So that's already in there, right? And so that's why it's much lower with a
Mhm.
smaller pavilion. That's gonna be at a big pavilion. So
Yeah.
we've already built that in.
Yeah, when we changed our rental fees the last time, they were very low. You could rent the pavilion for $8 during the week. And if you're a resident, which was a nightmare. And then Stacy, you could rent, I can't remember now what Stacy was, but it was more, but not
It was
significantly more.
ridiculous.
It was ridiculously low, and we had huge corporations coming in, and it was terrible in that old pavilion. When we did that change to the fees, we actually notified all of our renters that the fees were going to be changed and invited them to come to the council meetings. No one came. But then we also sent notices out, because the other thing that they used to do is you could only reserve the pavilion from Martin Luther King Day on. So the day after Martin Luther King, there would be a line out the door of the old communities, or at the front of the, people get in line like at 5 a.m. because they all wanted that date the coming year. And we had these two big crawfish boils that would be a disaster. So we went from, an insignificant amount to $420 for non-residents. We lost a couple renters, but
You gained a lot.
we gained a lot. So I think also people, to a certain extent, when it costs more, they value it more. So that was a good lesson for all of us. And I had one woman that,
They had to do.
yeah, I think the one woman that I talked to whose company didn't come back, she went to the county, and just for spite, I went in and looked at the county fees. She was probably paying several $100s more than she paid for us for the same purpose out at Creeper Lake. So it's okay. Yeah, it's fine. And now, Stacy is booked every single weekend. It is constantly used. And that's why it's good that you can book it a year in advance, because otherwise you're not going to get your date.
Okay, so do we need to make a motion for recommendation?
You can do this one, or you can do your own if you want to change those rates or something, you can absolutely do a recommendation.
So everyone's okay with the current rates?
With the rates that were listed, yeah.
Yeah.
We can go back.
Should we say, recommendation to approve
Yeah.
as outlined by staff?
Yeah, you want to do
Yeah.
that?
Yeah,
can do
why-
that.
Why don't we,
Yeah,
why
you
don't
can
we
do
add
that,
that to the
absolutely.
end of that sentence,
You got it.
It's outlined by,
No,
yes, I make a motion that we recommend approving damage deposit all park rentals as recommended by staff.
Well, I have one question.
That's
You have
okay.
a second first. You have to have a second.
Oh, yeah.
a second.
Okay, thanks,
Another
Kate.
motion.
Oh, sorry. So at Stacy, I think it's 150 for everybody
At Stacy.
at Stacy.
Yes.
So if I have a family reunion or if Bear has a big court, so for, just a
Well,
question.
yeah, the exception is if they have a special use permit.
Well, they,
No, then
especially
that's-
for, that's addition.
That's an additional
That's an
$100,
addition.
but
Yes.
my question is,
I just want to be clear.
should the special events have a higher damage deposit? Because they're more likely to trash it and make it worse.
Oh, we could. I mean, I don't know.
Well, it depends on what the special use is, right? Are they bringing a bouncy house or they
And that-
having more people?
And that's the one thing too, when you have a
You know,
special,
a special event, there could be different things they're bringing in.
Right. Well, the beautiful thing about the special event permit is we get their vendors and we get their certificates of additional insured from the vendors. And so then we know, we go after the vendors if there's a big problem, because we know who did it. And so far, they've been great, with the exception of that caterer. Everyone's been wonderful. So that caterer was not, we didn't know that caterer was coming. The big one then with the deep fat fryers, they told us they were gonna have less than 150 people at the pavilion. So the one thing that happened that we discovered all of this is we used to have a contract cleaning company that would do the pavilions on the weekends. We made a big shift after the park renovations to have our staff there. And that made a huge difference for us knowing what was happening in the
Yes.
parks and preventing it.
Yeah.
So that's where the initial damage deposits came from. So I think we're kind of on this journey of just elevating our service level.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so I'm just wondering what, if you recommend for a special event, if they have also maybe another $100 or, and a higher damage deposit, instead of like the 150, have it be 2 or 250. That's.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm hesitant to that because I think at that point, to Pat's point, we would have to have a sliding scale based on who the vendors coming in are.
oh,
But
yeah, that's too.
By them insuring us, they're giving us their liability insurance extension, then I think that takes care of that for us.
Okay.
Because a bouncy house vendor is gonna have one level, but someone coming in with a petting zoo is gonna have a different level.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right,
So does this become part of the code,
No,
or will this, is this one that's gonna be pulled out that we can change it at any time?
Well, we're gonna put it, it'll have to go into the code until the council makes a decision not to have it in the code, so I don't know.
Okay,
Because we have not adopted the fee schedule as part of the budget process, that's happening next year. So what we may do is it may go up in the code and then come back down again. I don't know, the city manager and the city finance director have to decide.
okay, and my point is, try for 6 or 8 months and see how it works.
Oh, yeah.
Then we can always revisit it.
Because the other thing that may happen too is that we may have a lot of people that are complaining because, renting villa and then suddenly having to pay a damage deposit.
Well, that's
They may
their
be very unhappy.
fault, so
Yeah.
So,
too bad.
go ahead.
don't we have there's a motion and a second.
There's a motion and a second.
The chair-
You have-
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Yeah.
You referred to doing it for so long.
So can we take a vote? All those in favor? Any opposed? Any abstained? Right, unanimously.
Great, thank you very much. Okay.
All right, next item, construction update.
So, not a whole lot different on this one, the south parking lot, but that's done. We have shut down the splash pad up there, so the parking lot not getting as much used. We aren't currently using Morrison Park.
They haven't shut.
Hmm?
They haven't shut down.
I know they were.
They haven't.
For that.
Yeah, yeah.
Has it been warm?
Yeah, we advertised that it's Memorial Day to Labor Day for the splash pads, but because it's been so warm, we're keeping them on.
I think we got one more week of this and then, yeah, start to see a drop. But splash pads are great because they're cool, they're not like pools where they're like, the water gets cold overnight, so.
Yeah,
But, that people have been really pleased with how that looks up there. It's much infinitely better than what used to be there too, so.
And the driveway will be coming out. Is that
It
in the
will.
capital?
it's, we're gonna do, it's in the project. We have money left in the project, but we're gonna do a different vendor.
Okay,
Yeah, because their estimate was like $50,000. Yeah, we think they put a high estimate on it because they didn't want to do it.
right.
We did have some, we're kind of inched along on the lower parking lot. That's this one down here. They did come in and install those curbs, which is in the far left picture. Those curbs are gonna be filled with rocks and they will also, have to make some cuts in there so that when they fill up with water, that water can get out, but they wanna see how that reacts and where that low point is so that they make the right cut in the concrete.
Yeah, from the last storm, they made an initial mark, but they wanted to see some more water in there.
And they haven't fixed the striping yet, or they have?
Yeah,
They fixed the striping, but they erased the old lines. You can see the old lines in there, see the middle section,
Yeah,
you see that gray or that brownish color. So they're gonna come back next week or the week after. They're gonna do an oil over the top because it took off that first layer of asphalt, and that will make it age faster. They're gonna oil the whole parking lot. So this ended up being a more than $50,000 mistake by the contractor, and they're
taking care of it.
They are.
So,
Yeah.
so with the curves, the only thing that as I saw that cars hit that asphalt.
So we are going to, part of the additional stuff that we'll be doing on that is painting those with reflective paint.
Okay,
and
okay.
So that they're
So they
not
don't
black.
get, so
Right.
people don't run into.
Correct.
And you're gonna put gravel.
Yeah, putting the same rock that's out here. And then we're also gonna paint the base of the light poles with reflective paint as well, because they just look terrible. And then we'll put the, reflective paint on there. It'll look a lot better. Yeah,
Okay,
Yeah, and
And then
it's good to
last-
see people are using it already too, so we've had
yeah,
filled this lot up several times over.
yeah.
And people are parking there
Yeah.
too.
Then the sidewalks were not part of the project, so we're gonna do those in-house. So the sidewalks kind of end, and then there's some mud. So we'll do that in-house. Because we can't afford to bring a contract company in.
all right, and so the last is the gate, the Centennial Greenway?
Yes, okay,
Hopefully go back, I got a question on
sure.
on the cutouts on the far left.
Mhm.
Are we worried about like in the winter, something getting in there, then the cutout getting ice? a little bit, do we have any liability
Well-
from that?
We salt our lots.
Okay,
Yeah, up here we use beet granules and liquid beet pre-treatment, so we don't put salt in our native plants. But for the cars, we don't have that. We have to use road salt, so we road salt it. Yeah.
And to, also to that point, too, we'll probably have to put some reflective markers in like what people do, for driveways, because that will, if we get snow, that likely is gonna get covered. And people
Yeah.
won't see, so.
Yeah,
we'll have
Clouds
to
will
do-
go right through it.
yeah, so yeah, we put the markers out mostly for our plows, but also for residents. Yeah.
And why was that put up there in the first place? What's the purpose that that bump out serves?
It is to really control the traffic. It's a traffic calming device.
Because if not, then you could just. And it's kind of the flow of the traffic. The exit is.
Yeah, I was very disappointed we lost green space and very disappointed. Entries. Very disappointed.
Well, you're gaining more than that. So.
Yes, but here, we're making up for it. here. Yes.
So, this is like the first like meaningful, like, oh my gosh, this is gonna be open soon, kind of looks you get at the Greenway when you go out there. They're starting on the hardscape, the landscaping around the path, and you can see they're putting straw mats down, which will be put grass seed down, doing a lot of their plantings in the next couple of weeks too, so. Some of the signage has already been added and a lot of the wayfinding and other, aesthetically pleasing things they've already added. Up there, which is great, which is kind of a sign that we're headed in the right direction with the project and it's still, on schedule. So,
Do you want to flip the doodle?
yep, I sure will.
And with the greenway coming in, then we will be responsible as all that parks for maintaining.
Yes,
Okay.
yes. One of the reasons we got the new Polaris vehicle, so we can take it out onto the greenway. And then we'll do the dog pots, we'll do the mowing. Excuse me.
Well, we have to increase staff.
I would like to have another horticulturist members, but it's
But that's-
all about the budget.
That's about it.
Yeah,
Is there gonna, so they can't, you don't want them to put native plants right up to the sidewalk?
that's the thing that the Greenway does. And part of it is they've learned as they do community outreach, what people feel comfortable with. So at the Danforth Center, their prairie has a very small buffer between the sidewalk
Right.
and the plants actually come over onto the sidewalk and people are afraid to walk there. So
So
The
a
greenway-
plant this tall?
I know. So what the Greenway has learned quite a bit is that in this area, people are afraid of grasses and they are afraid of trees overhead oftentimes. So that was one of the driving impetuses for us to start our trails. And when we did our trails that go through the woods, we initially did them with wood chips, which isn't common when you have hiking trails, but a lot of that we did a concerted specific decision to do that, to kind of introduce people to the fact that it would be safe for you to go in there. And we learned that through the public meetings that the Greenway conducted, what people were afraid of. So even though it's not my life experience, we have to respect the findings from the residents that are sharing. And we do get complaints at Stacy because we have those fir trees that are on the inside of the playing field area. People are afraid to walk by there in the early morning. And I've been asked to limb them up. Well, we have to respect people's fears. We can do our best to, help them, but, so it's a reality that the Greenway deals with and they're publicly funded and they really want to
Right.
have a good job. So
Well-
that's why they'll have a wide buffer.
Well, yeah, and so that was my question, because they could make it so you don't have to mow, but you're saying they're not because people are too scared to walk
Right.
next to 3 foot high
Right.
plant.
And it needs, because people are afraid someone's hiding in there. They're afraid they're gonna get ticks. They're afraid there's snakes. I mean, there's all sorts of fears.
Well, and that's interesting because I started, a group, we pick up trash quarterly along a section of the Centennial Green, as we're a pilot program. and it's from Olive to Shaw Park.
Mhm.
And that was one of the complaints I heard from everybody picking up trash. They're like, tell the Greenway to plant some trees.
Yeah,
It's
they-
all sun.
Yeah, they should plant trees in there. I would agree, because that would give you shade, absolutely. And we have more trees on our section. And part of that is because we're gonna care for them. You know, we
Okay.
made a commitment, we're caring for them. They were very pleased with our volunteer responses and all of that when we were doing the planning. Because we now have a track record that our volunteers are participating, which is
Yeah.
really good. Yeah, I'm so sorry, Pat has to leave.
Yeah, I'm sorry, everybody. I,
No, it's okay.
kind of family emergency, but,
No, take care of family. That's more important.
I kind of knew that this might happen, but I was happy that it didn't happen for us, but.
Yeah.
So I apologize, but. Take care, everybody.
And I could just, I'll just flip back.
Yep, just,
Okay.
you can drag that off of here.
Okay. Okay,
But if you just want to talk about the doodle, like, please get that.
yeah. Okay,
Pass the baton.
yeah, so the
Did
doodle,
I get undone? I had so much trouble.
I wasn't able to do it, I was gonna say verbally. You
Okay.
cannot do Thursday, correct?
No, I can do Thursday, I can't do,
Can't do Friday.
Wait.
yeah, yeah.
Can you put it back up?
I hit it wrong. And then I kept hitting it and.
And then I don't have to stop sharing, I could just.
No, I'm just gonna, make it duplicate, so whatever.
Can you scroll up just to see what those dates are? Since I didn't respond yet.
Yeah, so it's
The 5 to 6.
Wednesday, the 25th, Thursday, the 26th, and Friday, the 27th. So what we can do too is I can take people out, I can take 2 groups out. It's
Yeah.
okay. We'll just get our safety vests. The only reason
But I-
we're wearing
am
safety
I
vests. is
One of
people
the
know
3
we're-
in both groups?
Pardon me?
Am I one of the 3 in both groups?
You're not in the same.
Oh, no.
Friday-
yeah,
Friday
Okay.
group.
Yeah, you're Thursday only.
It's just a few right for the meeting I did Thursday.
Oh, okay. Okay,
And I could also, to add to this too, I'm here Mondays until 6, so I could also do. a
Yeah.
classic meeting.
yeah, absolutely. So, so what we'll do is we'll do one on Thursday. Next Thursday from 5 to 6, and then we'll schedule another one. And if you can't make any of them, just let us know when you can be here and we'll get you out there.
Okay,
And
but
what is
next
this?
Thursday from 5 to 6,
Okay.
a walkthrough of the Greenway.
Oh, okay.
So next Thursday.
Good luck, Patrick, good luck.
And I'll send a meeting request. He's coming back and he's
Okay.
bringing me the charger. His father-in-law had a bad fall, so he has to go to the,
Oh my God.
yeah, well, he has to pick up the girls. Okay. All right, so I'll send out a, meeting request for that.
Yeah, I have something Thursday.
Yeah, yeah.
That's okay. That's okay. We'll get you out there. And I did after work time, but if you want to do it during the day, that's okay too. And we can even just give you the vest if you want to go out on your own. Yeah. It's
So
not a
where
problem.
is it?
Just stop here.
You just park here and then you go from here all the way out to Dealman and back on the Greenway. So it's
Oh,
about, I
all the
think,
way-
what is it, a mile? Jim's done it. What was it?
No, I haven't gone the whole way.
Oh, I thought you went.
I've gone down enough, then I chickened out because
From here.
I said Beverly's going to be mad at
I
me.
can tell you exactly, what from here to Dealman.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm glad it,
It's a mile. Yeah.
because like from Dealman to my house is like 3/4.
Okay,
So that's like,
okay.
But it really looks
Maybe
good.
Yeah, it looks really good. It
you
looks
gotta
good.
kind of be Anderson.
Yeah.
I.
And they're
softened
using,
this in.
yeah, they're using a different mesh because we were so unhappy with the mesh that was used here because it was supposed to be photovoltaic and to dissolve and disappear, and it has not. So we've been hand pulling it. So they used a different type, a different manufacturer out there. So it even looks
We're
different.
hoping it's better.
Yeah, we're hoping it's better.
So dumb question, so do we have bike racks out here?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. I
And we
thought
have a
did.
bike tool station. so
Oh,
you can
yeah,
work
that's
on your
right.
bike.
You
Yeah.
can, so you can ride your bike up.
Yeah,
there.
absolutely. That's an interpretive sign for Elmwood Park that used to have homes in Indian Meadows Park. And they were relocated as part of a federal housing. They were lighted and then moved, so that is a commemoration of that. Okay,
So we're good. So you're gonna do the monthly update?
yes,
Excellent.
now I've got to figure out how to do this.
And Beverly, he's already published this, right? He posted it,
Yeah, no, we'll have,
but the monthly update, he's
But
already,
that was with the minute.
that,
I thought.
Yeah, I
Halfway. There we go. Okay, no, it's not in there.
Yeah, it's not.
It was just pictures.
I don't know how to,
Can you do an arrow on the keyboard?
it's not,
What do you?
oh, it worked. It didn't work last time. Thank you. Okay, so since our last meeting, we've had 36 additional memberships. So here is our current total word. And remember, households count as one membership, even though a household has 4 people or more in it. So we have now, we can say with confidence, we have over 1,000 members now, which is fantastic. And then we are still winning with Renew Active as our most used group, but that's okay. And then resident household is our biggest group. And if you want details on any of these, just let me know. Here's a pie chart that kind of shows.
We can go back to that.
Oops, go back. Oop. Ah. There we go.
So there's a corporation that will give their employees.
There is, and the corporation, unfortunately, when we sold those in the beginning, we didn't know how to pull them out in the memberships. So that we have more than that. So like, for example, the exotic car dealership buys memberships for all their employees. The company that sold us our exercise equipment, their employees are members. So we have a few of them, and I don't know them all, unfortunately, because of the way we set it up. Now, when they come in, we know that. And we're about to do a new push to businesses around here. We're doing a direct mailing to them.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah,
So can I ask a question? So 22% is the Renew Active?
yes, no,
No.
46.
it's,
Absolutely.
well, the colors,
The colors are,
Yeah, it's 22.
Yeah,
It's like 22, yeah.
yeah, it would,
Yeah, that
But
would.
there,
yeah, because their Renew Active is pale blue, residence is the salmon. And then when you go here, residence is the dark blue, Renew Active is the pale, so I don't know why it's doing
yeah,
that.
but looking how close, I would think it'd be more like a 30 something.
I would think so too, so,
That number doesn't look right.
it does.
But
You
this
know
was
what?
what I was gonna report to
I
for
can ask Pat.
council. I was gonna report to this at the council
Yeah.
meeting next week, so if you could get me the updated.
Hey,
The
Pat,
actual
really quick.
percentages.
Wait, can you, tomorrow when you're in, can you run this again? Because it looks like the percentages are off on residents and when you look
Yeah,
here.
you could, yes, I can,
Okay,
but I did update it based on the.
Sure.
Let me check that high graph, so basically just editing the data from.
yeah. Because you see
So-
here, Renew Active beats residents, and then here, residents is beating Renew Active. That's why we're kind of, oh, wait a second, you know why? Because that's cumulative, it's cumulative. So this one, resident households is neck and neck with Renew Active. But on this chart, residents are all types of residents are in one.
So
So,
Renew's in there.
so Renew's standalone in the pie chart, but here, do you see we have adult resident, that's an individual, 60+ resident, 60+ household.
But we don't have that.
Resident household. So here, all the resident numbers are rolled up here. So we have more residents cumulatively. When you look, this is the individual membership.
Through the Renew access.
No, it's right. So here, so
Renew Active.
let me say it again. This differentiates every single membership possible to purchase here. So this delineates every single individual
I
type
get
of membership.
that.
This one bundles all residents
I get
into
that.
one category.
But if you're a Renew access person, are we separating that by resident, and non-resident?
No.
Yeah.
No.
no.
Are you
can't do
sure?
that. Yes,
What time it was?
So,
No.
Pat,
no,
in your,
no.
so in your roll up here, is Renew Active differentiating between resident and non-resident?
No,
No,
Renew Active is just.
Renew Active.
Yeah.
Because it's a flat rate.
Right,
Just one rate,
But
yeah.
at one time we were separated.
I don't think so.
So when you say 15% are employees to the city of Allentown.
Correct.
That's an employee benefit.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Now here are our rentals. This is why they're such a great company. We love working with them. So this is like cumulatively since we opened, 283 multipurpose room rentals. Now this is contracts signed. So this, we can email this to you. This is the contract signed. So like the multipurpose room rental, someone could have rented it more than one time, but it's one contract. So this is just counting the contract. We did not want to bore you with the hours.
Oh, it's a lot.
Patrick,
It's a lot.
Go, go,
Thank you.
go.
I'm sorry.
Go,
My computer was dying and I didn't have.
go, go.
Thank you.
Sorry.
I'll put it all on your desk.
All right.
Okay,
Thank you.
all right, great. Okay, I'm done.
Okay, I'll be short and sweet. We have a new attorney for the city of Olivet, Paul Martin retired from, a lot of the communities he worked with. He's still doing some law, but he's not doing, the municipal work in the evenings and everything. We hired a woman by the name of Stephanie Carr, and we timed it in that they were able to overlap, and it's also someone that he knows. He'll still be working with us on a couple, seeing us through a couple situations. She was at our first meeting last week or 2 weeks ago, because we did not have a September workshop. It's kind of weird, but like we didn't have a September workshop, we have a meeting this week, so it's kind of like kind of strange. And the meeting last week was 23 minutes so that we could all get home in time to see the debate. So nobody showed up for public comment, and it was the fastest boom, boom, boom. And so, it was good. So the biggest things that that's going on in Olivet that you see is just, the construction happening. Just people walking and going everywhere. I've seen a lot of people commenting, and it's helpful that when you see that grasses and trees are overgrown on the sidewalk, when you walk, to report it to, it could be dropping me an email or just Jennifer Yackley or send, and because we do follow up with letters or visits to the property, and people, we want to have a walking community, so we want to be able to make sure that those, and like with the school buses starting back, Harvest was a real issue, because you could literally drive down the middle of Harvest because people's backyards, that face Harvest are behind their fences, and I don't think some of them realize, like, I haven't had that cut in all summer, but, so it's very helpful, no, all is
Now, is
good.
that something that they should comment to Jennifer, or should it go to Carlos or to Bruce?
You can just bring it to a council member or
Okay,
Jennifer.
So in the last 3 weeks, the light has gone out at either Price and Olive. Is that?
That's mowed out.
That's mowed out, screwing around?
I mean, yeah, it's not, we have nothing. I don't know, I mean, it's,
The other top one, I know is several times.
Well, it's gone out a number of times, Price and Olive has gone out at least twice through.
so I'm not.
It's on, and then it's.
I don't know if it's because of the building at Baldy's, I don't know, why, I just, no rhyme or reason right
We,
now.
we don't have control over that. It's a state highway.
Yeah, it's been
We,
crazy.
Bruce does a very good job of reporting into them.
Well, yeah, and I would just say in the past, there's been a good job of sending out alerts, like the siren alerts. But they haven't been doing that, and I don't know if it's just they haven't been doing that. if they're-
I don't know, I mean, I don't know if they're down for, I don't know if they're down for such a short amount of time. that they
No,
don't
they're
do it, or-
down, they've been down for an hour or two. I
They,
mean, long
I got
enough.
a Dealman alert like 2 weeks ago that the light was down.
Yeah, there was a word on that,
Yeah.
but when the Price and Olive one goes out, it doesn't seem to be a word, but I don't know if it's sort of.
So if it happens, feel free to report. Yeah, yes.
Yeah.
It would be really interesting what this report is like tonight.
Well, it sounds
And I
like we had a
don't
good
know
crowd at the meeting.
Yeah.
It sounds like it'll be good.
And not a festive party in the room next door.
But you notice when it happens, the microphone is not turning to it, so it may not be picking it up. Because a lot of times the applause is cut out.
Okay, so the non-emergency dispatch number.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah, it's just been, I think it's probably construction.
And I would say the biggest questions I keep getting are about events up here. I mean, people are just, I get great feedback on Five Oaks. I run a program in the central west end, but there's Olivet, residents, and at pickup tonight, the big question is when's the harvest festival? Not programs about what's going on there, but when's the harvest festival? So, it's good.
Good.
So,
I love hearing that.
You skipped over your report,
No, I didn't.
the director's report?
You know why? Because we usually do it after the council report.
Yeah, so we just gotta switch it.
Yeah.
So you're gonna do that.
Yeah. So, speaking
any
of,
questions for me?
oh, yep, sorry.
I'm good.
So speaking on that, you have a robust report in here. I'll just touch on the high points. We had over 200 people out for a movie in the park. It was phenomenal. It was a great night. It was beautiful. It got really windy towards the end, but it was wonderful. The staff passed out free popcorn, and then we passed out a lot of our program flyers. So you, hopefully all of you have received the new activity guide. Did everybody get it?
Mine hasn't arrived yet.
I have hard copies on my desk, so.
That one get mailed last.
Oh, you know what? I didn't get my mail today yet.
Yeah.
Hopefully it's there when I
Yeah,
get it.
I can hand you a hard copy if you.
It's fine, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Fully mentioned.
The Harvest Festival's back page. So we also have a beautiful show up right now, an Olivet resident and a City of St. Louis resident teamed up for the show that's out there. They had over 100 people come to the opening. It was wonderful. They gave a talk in here. The room was filled. And they asked a lot of people asked a lot of questions. It was wonderful. So I encourage you all to take a look at it. It's absolutely beautiful.
This one is 2 months.
And this one's coming longer. This one's 2 months because they started halfway through the month. So they're gonna go long and then we have another group coming in that opens November.
And it was wonderful, if the commissioners would check at the opening.
Well, they typically, some of them come, for sure. Sue was there.
Come see.
Okay, Youth Soccer League is underway. The shirts are a huge hit. People love the shirts. They're adorable. The feedback we're getting right now, our referee program we're seeing a big improvement in that. People are very pleased with that. We're still short referees. We're very tight. So if someone calls in sick, or we had someone whose dad went to the hospital, we're without a rep. So if you know anybody that wants to rep, we pay very well. And then,
Is there a minimum age?
yes, 16. Yeah. And we train them. And they get $25 a game. So that's nothing to sneeze at.
It's a high school.
There's been some feedback. People think the micro fields are too small. We believe they're the same. They've been every year. They are better marked this year. They look beautiful. And micro is 4-on-4 with no goalie. But because they are 4 years old. But so when people complain about the field being too small, we think some of it is they have too many players on the field. They're putting 7 out there and putting a goalie in, and and then all of you who had children play soccer, you know that.
Bird ball.
Yeah, so
I've never heard of.
Everyone's.
Yep.
Yeah.
we had Palooza last week. It did really well. The winning team, 39 minutes. We had to cancel the Star Party because of the cloud. But we have another one scheduled in October. Another big news is that we have this contract with Les Mills, which is a big fitness program out of New Zealand. And we've had difficulties getting instructors because we were new. We were a new place. So one of our personal trainers just went through the certification process. She took her final test on Saturday. She conducted a live class and a bunch of us took it. It was incredibly hard. It's called Body Pump. So if she passes, you're going to start seeing those, and they are amazing. We just in that one class, we did 200 squats and 200 lunges. And that was okay, but it was the many, like 100 flies that I did that I'm still feeling. So yeah, it was fantastic. I can't wait for that to happen. There's something about group fitness that really builds camaraderie. We've also started sensory friendly playtime in the indoor playground, which is wonderful. And we're really starting to push that out. So this is an opportunity for kids that have sensory processing issues can come in. It's a modified schedule to keep things quiet. They can wear headphones. We give them fidget spinners. And then we've also designated certain areas. So like the parents' room now is also designated as a sensory zone where you can go in and take a break. if you need to. So we're very excited about that program. We also were the first city to pick up our trees from Forest Relief, so they insisted on taking a picture. They were very excited, so that was a big deal. So we've got a bunch of new plants going out.
Saw that in their newsletter.
Yeah, it was very exciting. Now, I put an article in here that, I don't know if you had a chance to read, but I kind of want to talk about this because it really impacts park planning. And one of the things that I wanted to kind of talk about are desire paths, because we talked about this in the Parks Master Plan. So oftentimes when urban planners, landscape architects plan places for people to be, people want to go a different way. And that's called, it's had lots of terms over the time, but now the current term is desire path. So desire paths can be really devastating to natural environments, to hillsides. They cause a lot of erosion, but they can also be part of a thoughtful process. So it's sometimes in planning, pathways will be deliberately left out or not hardscape to kind of see where the natural flow of people go. When this park was renovated, we tied in the existing pathway to the greenway. And in the process of that, we made all of the old pathway at Worcester Park ADA accessible, meaning that we added that whole new sweep up there so that you could get from the upper part of Worcester to the community center at a 5% grade. So it required putting in a lot of zigzags. It's almost like a ziggurat to get from here up to there. There was a plan in there to put stairs as a shortcut, but when we did our value engineering on the project, we had to eliminate those stairs for a significant savings. I can't remember what it was, but it was, I want to say over $100,000 savings for us. The downside of that is that people know that it's shorter to climb the hillside. So we had a horrible situation with people climbing. So this is the greenway. I should have taken a picture that actually where the retaining wall is. So anyone going up to the athletic fields takes a shortcut, and it was incredibly eroded and the rain was washing it out, creating a gully. So the staff have gone in and they dug it out. They put in what we use in the other places, the mulch with the crossbars to hold the mulch back in the rain. And then in the steeper areas, they put in steps. They aren't done. They're going to put some more infill steps in because they're still pretty wide, too wide for little kids. And then they're reseeding it. The soil that was there was very poor construction grade soil, so they had to bring in better soil to actually get some grass established in there. We'll start doing more seeding and as we get into a better growing season for the grass. But I'm really pleased with what they've done here. They've started doing this a couple of years ago, first at Stacy, other places. So they're learning as they go and doing a better and better job. So this saved us an incredible amount of money, and they were able to do it in 2 days. So and 2 half days because they had to do their other jobs at the same time. So I'm really pleased with that. Please walk it and give us feedback because we automatically know we need more of the steppers in there, but it's all of our trails are sort of a work in progress. Okay, we're doing a lot of supplemental water all over because we really are in kind of a mini drought again, just like last year. So there's a lot of watering going on. We don't want to lose our young plants. And then they've definitely started preparing for the summer. A lot of new plants are coming in. We're doing a lot of shrubs and perennials and trees. And once again, 100% native. We did a job offer to a applicant for the vacant recreation coordinator position. They declined the job. So now we're making another offer. If this person does not accept, we're going to do another advertisement. Because we don't want to go to the third and fourth candidates. So hopefully we'll have some good news. And then I've got a whole bunch of flyers in here for you. A whole bunch of events are coming up. So family overnights next weekend. We've got several families signed up, including Mike signed his family up. Coffee with the Cop is going to be here. The Great Divide is where you bring your perennials in and your native prairies and share. Because a lot of people, I know Stephanie's given us over the years many. We're trying to do it on one day because people tend to trickle in and then it becomes really hard. So people bring them in and then Brian can help supervise where they get planted. So that's exciting. That all of it in Bloom's pushing that out.
Is there a time of day you're doing it?
I did.
Is there a time though?
There is, that's just an announcement.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's actually in the activity guide too.
Are there specific plants that they're looking for or,
Native plants.
well, I mean,
Yeah.
but
Well, we'll take anything, but if it's a native that is, that misbehaves, it may have very strict, very,
Sure.
you know, limited place we put it. Yeah.
Yeah, so you basically, you're bringing plants to the park.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, we're trying to do it in a more, because this happens, people are so generous, but this way we're trying to have it be, have more control rather than just people dropping off
Right.
buckets of plants
Right.
outside the park building and then we have to deal with it. Olivet and Bloom Workday, we've got this, Star Party at Stacy, Pickleball Mixer, Designing with Nature in Mind, that's a free workshop we're doing with Olivet and Bloom. The Shred E-Waste event is on October 21st at Stacy, and that's for residential, residential paper shredding only. We are not HIPAA certified for that. No medical records. And then no drug take back. There's going to be a separate drug take back. So we're not accepting drugs this year. And then Sweet Reeds Harvest Festival, October 26th. Please put on your calendar. We would love all of you to be here. There are jobs for everybody. There, we are redoing the format. It's going to be a lot more engaging. And I'm really excited about it. The Not So Spooky Trail is going to be on the Sassafras Trail up here. So we'd love to have you the day before, the day of, doing setup. We'd love to have you here doing a role during the event. You're welcome to bring family members. It should be fantastic.
Do we just email you to sign up to volunteer or will you?
Yeah, I'm gonna send out
Will you
another
bring
email.
us, have
specifically.
a, something? we can
Yeah,
sign up
yeah.
At
We'll-
the
I'll
next
send
meeting
something out.
or?
No, I'll send before the next
That would
meeting.
be great.
Yeah. Well, the next meeting is on the 9th, so we could potentially do it at the next meeting.
Well-
That's not a bad idea.
will you need help on the shredding event?
Yes, we will need help on the shredding event. We will also need help on the turkey trot. Has David Moons reached out to
Dave
you?
Moon
Okay.
reached out.
Okay, yeah, we need lots of help parking wise at the turkey trot. We've got Fall into Fitness. You have a flyer in here on that. I don't think Pat put those up. He did not.
For the
Okay.
shredding event, Beverly, you just.
What kind of help do you need?
sign up?
What
You
kind of
send out
help
a
do you need
sign
for
up
that?
people
For the
to-
shredding event, what we really need is helping seniors get papers out of their car. So
Oh,
we
so-
help them because,
And it's 4 to 7 on the
On
21st.
the-
Yeah, but that's out on your back.
Well, I'm not helping carry it.
yeah, no, you can't.
It's gonna be all I can do to get
Yeah.
this up in my.
Right. If you need help loading your car, let us, I will. Okay. Yeah, it's actually, it's really fun. And that might be a great thing for us. Say we
I
don't
didn't know if you
need-
needed help with traffic control.
we could, the cops do traffic control. We're not certified. for
What about some of the Eagle Scouts or Boy Scouts?
We don't ask them to do that.
Okay.
Yeah, we want staff out there.
No, I'm
It's
talking
very
about
noisy.
helping to get stuff out of
Oh,
senior drive.
Not that date.
Okay.
Yeah, 'cause
Yeah,
you-
we want a little bit more. There's,
Okay.
Yeah.
there's sensitive documents that come out. I mean, just, we don't want to put
And
them
you
in
have
that
cars
position.
moving in.
Yeah. And we wear safety vests. So looking on your flyers in front of you, Fall into Fitness has started. I encourage all of you to participate if you'd like. It's lots of great stuff getting ready to run the turkey trot. Our Bio Blitz is going on, which is where people are when you're out in the parks and you identify a native plant or pollinator and you put it up into the app, it really helps scientists and citizen scientists with tracking native species. So we're doing that with the National Parks and Recreation Association. And then, believe it or not, 2025 Youth Basketball League is registering now. So that is all I have.
Beverly, I
Yes.
saw one thing that came out today.
Yes.
There's a garage sale,
Yeah, we have the garage sale. That's right.
and the thing that got posted today was that you can just put stuff out for free, but put yourself on the map. Is that correct?
Maybe, I don't know. If it is, it's new and I'm unaware of it, but that's exciting.
Because I saw that today and I did not know that was coming.
I didn't either.
I saw it on like did you see it on Buy Nothing Olivet?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's where I saw it. I didn't,
But I
so it might be someone.
I think that's some,
I don't think that's legit.
that's not part of us, but you know what people.
But they included the link to get put on the map.
To
So.
put out your
Tell
bio.
someone,
Well, let me find out. So we have,
See if that's okay.
we have some pickleball players that are very involved with that, so I can see them lobbying for that.
Well, and that's fine. I just want to make sure you know that you're gonna get pinged.
Well, the Buy Nothing group is very responsible, so I don't mind that.
Well, I don't either, but I want you to be aware that you might get more people,
Oh, we might, yeah.
which is great.
So
but-
I'll make a note, I'll ask,
Official.
Jill and TJ about that.
Do you get people who attend who are like religious yard sailors who would
Yes.
be put off, like peeved if there was a, I guess maybe if it's free, they.
We get people, what's interesting is people get peeved because they'll go late and they'll say, oh, I went by and nothing was out. Well, you
Yeah.
have to go early. And the last person that complained went to another yard sale somewhere else and like, well, in St. Charles, I'm like, well, I can't help you. You came at.
My concern is if it's on the map, right, people may get confused which are.
Well,
sales versus
if we are doing it, I'm sure it'll be color coded.
Okay.
Yeah, but I will ask.
But that
Yeah.
would be good.
Yeah, because the problem with Buy Nothing, they're a great organization and I've given stuff, but usually I'm like one thing. It's not like a yard sale.
Oh,
You know.
trust me, someone knows what I'm gonna do.
Yeah.
There's gonna be a table in my corner.
Yeah.
With lots of stuff.
Oh,
okay.
Get,
No, she's gonna lay it just on the ground. She's gonna put it in the table.
I mean, I didn't have to do
The hell with the
that.
table.
Unofficially.
I know.
I'm gonna write city hall, there's a junk in the.
New City used to do that all the time. They put out.
Everywhere I've lived in California, we've had a free tree where everybody puts their stuff in the tree.
In Salt Lake City where my daughter lives, everybody just.
Here, I don't think you can do it because there's so much rain. I don't think. it- There's-
They're too.
The weather's good. Come by my house. I'll be-
They're too.
I love
You
it.
know,
Okay, up to, you're on deck there, Sue.
So we're on future agenda items?
Yeah.
Okay. So you guys can see the future agenda items that we tabled. We want to add, start thinking, if you don't mind, about what you want as part of plan going forward.
Well,
So you want to.
yeah, so our first item is the work plan for 2025. So what we want to do is we want to take a different approach this year. So we're going to start the process next month. We held off a month to get people, get their feet wet and think about it. So between now and October, I really want you to think about what are things you're really invested in and you really want to see happen in the parks. We're gonna abandon our old plan. We're gonna start fresh because we really want it to be commissioner driven. So take a look at the mission of the Parks and Recreation Department, which you received at the last meeting. Look at the charter of this commission that's in the ordinance. And then we will do, we'll do an overview at the next meeting of how a work plan operates, how we structure working groups again, kind of a reminder about that. And then we'd like to do a brainstorm for everybody of what are some areas you want to focus on, and then come back again in November and actually have a draft work plan, and then you can move forward with that. So we wanted to, Sue and I talked about it, and we really want to find out from you, is there anything else that would be beneficial for us to prepare ahead of next month's meeting, which is really quick because it's not a month
October
away.
9th,
It's
yeah.
October 9th, right?
So what I would like to see is what you see as problem areas or things that you get complaints on.
Okay. That's great. So in the past, I've written a staff report of the priorities for staff. And typically that's not what the commission really wants to work on. So I'm happy to
Yeah,
provide. it.
You
Yeah.
know, like the motorized vehicles in the
Yeah,
park.
yeah,
That-
I identified
That's
that.
what I meant, like
Yeah,
that one,
yeah,
because
absolutely.
that's an issue
Right.
and it's, the staff can't do it. And I don't know what we could brainstorm. And by the way, the Centennial Greenway, they always post signs, no motorized vehicles.
They do.
On their trail.
Right.
What is the park master plan need to be worked on?
Well, that's part of that. We did that with the capital, so we can bring that and show that too. And does
We're
everyone
doing
have
it with the
the link?
capital, but does it
Can you
have to,
circulate links?
don't we have,
Yeah.
when do we have to start revising it?
Well, we're supposed to do that in the coming year.
So that.
So that'll
needs to
be on my.
So
that'll
that should be on
my
the
report.
future agenda item.
Well, no, because we have to go through we have to decide the process
Oh,
first.
okay.
Yeah, and I have to have Jennifer on board with how we're gonna do it.
But that's a
Yeah.
2025.
That's 2025.
Oh, no, oh.
Yeah. So, yeah, we haven't identified that yet.
I have a weird question. Who owns the blacktop trail from, what is it, Mansfield to Dealman?
The city of St. Louis. But we maintain it as best we can.
Okay,
It's their
That's
land.
right, I knew that because it's part of the water reservoir.
It's part of the $1 lease. right?
And well, it's not in it, but we do it. I'm still fuzzy on all of that. But, we need to repave it, but we don't have it identified as a project.
All right, and well, and what I was getting, like, there's kids that are riding, 12-year-olds are riding electric bikes on.
Yes, yes.
And it,
Well, electric bikes are allowed on the greenways, so that's what we
Oh, they
have to
are.
correct. We don't have an ordinance at all. There's nothing in any of the city ordinance about motorized vehicles and parks, so that's why we have to start from scratch with that
okay.
and have decisions around
That's a
that.
killer.
Yeah,
It
so
is,
that's gonna
it
be,
is, because
that's
if you're
gonna be a
60 and you're
yeah.
riding it,
You're right
Okay.
about that.
And they are zipping.
yeah, they are.
so.
I know. I know.
So we're not the first community to deal with this. They are very popular on the east and west coast. So there are ordinances already out there that we can get, and then we can also find out what other cities around us, but we have nothing in our code, so it's gonna be from scratch. Doing it, so, speed limits are one of the things we can do. In California, they use, speed guns on mountain bike trails, and those aren't even motorized. So you can get a ticket for speeding on your mountain bike.
Huh.
And in the East Bay Regional Parks, yeah, because people are going 30 miles an hour on a bike,
Right.
hikers and horses. So,
In Fort
And
Park, I'd like to ticket the bikes that run the stop signs.
yeah, so anyway, so that we have it up there. It's got a February date, but once we adopt it officially on the work plan, you may revise that because there's so much work's gonna be required for that. And it's gonna have to go to the council and have to be, a first and second reading. We'll have to have the police, we'll have to weigh in on it.
Oh, yeah,
So,
that's gonna
yeah,
be.
that's gonna be that's
Yeah.
a meaty subject. So I have it
Yeah,
up there in
yeah.
February just as a placeholder. It may
Just
take us longer. than-
Always have it in the distance, but on the horizon.
Exactly, yeah.
Okay, so be thinking about that. for the-
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I will send links out so the park master plan is on our Parks and Rec website, it's on the city website, but I'll send a link to it.
All right, last but not least, the upcoming dates, I think you hit them all already. So I
Yes.
think we've covered them.
Oh, yeah,
Unless you have-
we don't have them listed because it was in the previous slide, so,
But they're in the agenda.
yeah.
I have another weird question. In the parks, do you have any kind of no volume?
Yes,
Okay,
there's the city noise ordinance, it's the nuisance ordinance, and it
yeah,
has decibels in it.
okay. And then they all have to be shut off at what, 10 or something?
Well, the parks close at dusk, except for Stacy.
Right,
Because Stacy's the urban nights guy, but you can't have noise after dusk. So there's guidelines for using the park that are posted on
oh, I
the website.
remember that.
Yeah.
Cause there's a couple,
Unless it's a city sanctioned event.
cause I live, as
Yeah.
the crow flies, like
Yeah.
a block or 2 blocks, and there's some pretty noisy events. Now, they usually stop, by
Did you
the,
hear the movie?
no,
Okay. I thought it was pretty loud.
but stuff like that is direction.
Well, it was directed right to your house.
That's when is it? I just
Yeah,
got back to vacation.
It is
Yeah.
very cute,
Yeah,
inside out.
Yeah.
So I just got back, Monday night,
Oh, yeah, you were out of town.
so I was out of town.
You're out of town.
So what's the problem?
So I- there.
Yeah, it was right behind the restrooms and the big, movie screen pointed toward your house. Now, the family overnight's next weekend in the same spot, and we're gonna have some sort of campfire program, so you may hear that. Yeah.
No.
So it's
that.
It's when those, it's when special events have huge bands
Okay.
or huge.
Wait, who was the first?
Jim
Thank you. Who was the second? Thank you, Bill.
All those in favor of adjourning.
Hey, thanks, everybody.
No, I hear when they have bands and they crank the bass up. That's what I.
Yeah, usually when we have bands. Hang on, how do
What?
Somebody, oh,
I
because she's not on her computer.
I can't see his.
Can you hit escape?
Just turn it off.
He doesn't have.
What are you trying to do?
Well, look, it's buzzing.